It's Feel Good Friday, and I'm feeling good. Jeff Cowan's in the house, TRPA, and always doing some great events happening here. And you got quite a calendar coming up. We were just going through a few. I'm like, whoa, let me get my pen. But this is good. This is good.
It is good. It seems kind of busy, but I think throughout the summer, residents of the basin, we're all trying to kind of like wait for things to kind of get back to normal.
Yeah.
And so September, it gets full of events, which are great and exciting. There's a lot of environmentally focused events and a lot of things that TRPA is involved in throughout this month and next month. And there's some exciting ones like the 25th anniversary, I think, of Tahoe Forest Stewardship Day.
Oh, that's
the
cool.
League to Save Lake Tahoe is putting on this Saturday.
Yep, the 20th.
Yep. And that's a big volunteer event. And then that actually, I think, coincides with National Public Lands Day.
Nice.
That's a big one because we're looking at, 90% of the Tahoe Basin is actually public land.
That's right.
It kind of escapes
that.
people's idea, like conception of how much public access there is, how much public access is needed to improve upon. But that's the Tahoe Forest Stewardship Day is also about kind of fire safety and forest resilience. That is followed by the Fire Fest down here in South Lake Tahoe on the 27th, the following weekend.
Okay.
And the 27th, the Fire Fest is great. TRPA will be out there talking about defensible space, talking about tree removal, and all of our partners. There's raffles and giveaways that are really fun.
Oh, cool. So it's not just a talk; it's actually a gathering. And
that one's it's it's a family-friendly event for sure.
Okay.
But you can pick up and learn so much information about all the issues around forest health and wildfire resilience in the Tahoe Basin. There's going to be information about evacuation planning and what's happening around kind of securing safer evacuation corridors through forest fuel reduction projects. And then just agencies like ours, South Tahoe Refuse and the water company, everybody, right?
How do you stay on top of that? You've been doing this for years. So I do my research. I'm like, oh my God, you've been sitting here and here. You've been everywhere in the studio. How do you keep up with it?
Over the years that it's what you need to do is if you have a great idea for an event, you pick kind of like a good time frame for it, stick with it. Right?
Okay.
It takes a few years sometimes for bigger events like this to actually get into the kind of what's called the zeitgeist, right? It's like the whole cultural parts of the Tahoe Basin. So we're seeing that, of course, in the fall with great, and then we have other workshops and things like that where TRPA is looking for feedback in October.
Yeah, we were talking about that, some of the deadlines as well, but I do want to do that shout out on the Lake Spirit Awards. And people are just hearing it because I know the deadline's coming September 30th. What is that? How do people engage?
So since 2011, TRPA has been recognizing individuals who show Lake Spirit, who show like above and beyond levels of commitment to protect and restore the lake. There's people who are working behind the scenes, day in and day out that, are basically unsung. So the Lake Spirit Awards are there to recognize and honor those individuals, public agencies, and staff. There's obviously a lot of volunteer staff, but we don't know. Sometimes, people come out who are like, wow, that person is actually starting a housing sustainability program in their community with this all grassroots that doesn't have a lot of support and is just purely like one or two people really driving. Like in the years past, we've got Clean Up the Lake, who Colin West, who has gone around and, picked up so much underwater garbage. There's things like that are happening all the time. Not a lot of people know about.
Well, I love that because you have a whole bunch of things that are coming up. And if people might have an idea, like you just kind of sparked my brain. I'm like, oh, how could I help and collaborate? If someone's back home before we go, what's the best way, people can keep up to date on all of this stuff? And maybe they have an idea too that they got some spirit and they want to contribute.
Yeah, exactly. So, there are opportunities throughout the basin to partner with a lot of existing nonprofits. That is a great way to kind of leverage what you want to do with what other organizations are doing. They already have good infrastructure and equipment around it. But that doesn't mean you can't, kind of split off. Like I go and pick up trash on my dog walk every day. I don't necessarily report that as part of the League to Save Lake Tahoe's Blue Crew program. But at the same time, I know that I'm kind of, contributing to that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing the love and thank you for how you serve our community. I always appreciate seeing you here and or on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
All right,
Thanks a lot,
man.
John.
Awesome.